And we're live. It's always quite exciting when we go live. So, I had set out for this live stream to be pretty much all based about covers copyright, and I'll get onto that in a bit, but it's just been such a mad, eventful week. I'm just checking the webcam's okay because that's one of the main things that's caused an awful lot of hassle this week. So, I'll also be talking a bit about updates as well. The pain of updates, actually just coping with the updates and things changing on your system because it can really throw us music producers and obviously I don't know what you need your computer for, but I'm aware that mine does a lot, just all of the video as well. When you start throwing video in the mix as well as audio used to be a bit enough of a pain with updates, but now with video and well, all the things that are required of a modern sort of production computer. And this is I'm running a 2015 iMac. I looked up today and Apple describe a 2015 iMac as vintage. I was like, what, really? Like I bought this 5 years ago, I suppose. About 5 years ago. And I felt like this was really new, having a 5-year-old iMac. I've still got one from 2010, which is such a lovely machine. It's got a new solid-state drive in it. But these things all just need updating and outdate so quickly. I'm going to get more into that later on in the video because I do want to talk mainly about copyright because it's such an important topic. And there's quite a lot of stuff that I discovered since I made a video about a month or so ago, and the video was about strategizing cover videos, which I know a lot of people like to do. I like to do too, covering songs on whatever instrument, performing them and recording them to the best of your ability at home, and then putting them up. And I was really enjoying doing that actually a while back, and I came up with kind of a strategy that I thought might help people, because one of the things you can't do when you upload covers, of course, is monetize them because they're not your songs. But that's also fine because YouTube and modern technology can YouTube ID identify the song that you're covering pretty much most of the time. I did have a few which it didn't recognize. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or not. I guess it's how close to the original your cover is. But the point being, you put a song up, it recognizes it, and the artist and the label gets paid, which seems like a really, really intelligent system. We get to sing cover songs. For me as an artist, why wouldn't you want someone covering your song? It's a massive flattering compliment. And that there's the mechanics in place that you get paid for it too. No matter how small, it's still getting paid for it. And it's getting your song out there. And the more things like develop, I think I'm right in saying now, like even if, say, I sing a Pulp song, for example, and Pulp happened to be on tour, I was seeing things like coming up underneath covers, which are then advertising the tour and things like that. It's really clever, and it's like free marketing for them. So it seems like a win-win. My strategy, though, for the independent artist was to make sure you focus on product. So if you're playing a Sigma guitar, then you make sure that you've got that in your content description, and you're going to be making your track sound as nice as possible. So you can be showcasing the Sigma guitar, and you're showing it off. And so if someone watches it and goes, God, that guitar sounds mad, it sounds mega, clicks on your link, and it's like, actually, I'm going to buy this guitar. I just think it sounds great. You want to get paid for that, and you can get paid for that. That's got nothing to do with the copyright of the content. You're just saying, this is my guitar. Set up an affiliate link with, whether that's Thomann, whether it's directly with the manufacturer. So that could be directly with Sigma, but more likely with gear, it's going to be whatever sort of online store you choose, Thomann, Anderton's, uh, or there's Gear for Music and Sweetwater in the US. So they're the sort of the big ones, but there's, I'm sure, plenty more. Um, so it seemed like a really good strategy. Focus on the microphone. You can switch different mics out. You can contact companies straight afterwards. Instagram's great for that. Contact the company straight afterwards and say, "Hey, check it out. Check my video. This cover song. I'm using your mic." It seemed great, like a great idea. So that was my video. And then I had a comment actually about a week or so ago. Someone just saying, where do we stand with copyright? Is that maybe something for another video? And I thought, I'd learned so much about that had stopped me, actually. If I'm completely honest, I stopped making my cover videos after I kind of discovered more about it. And so that's what I wanted to talk about really right now. And what I found was the power actually that the copyright striking has. And uh, I mean, it's an absolutely cracker system at the moment, as far as I'm concerned, because as I've already said, it's a win-win all round. I don't know why acts like, I mean, say acts, it's probably labels, but there's certain acts, I think, is it Don Henley, his name is, the chap from the Eagles, I think so. He's apparently like an absolute no-go for covering any songs, whether it's him specifically or the label acting on his behalf or both, I don't know. And there were certain no-go songs. I remember Summer of '69 was a particular no-go that could cause you to get a copyright strike. 3 of those, and your channel's gone. And I saw also other channels connected to that same email address could be at risk as well. Um, uh, and that was enough to freak me out. I've spent, 4 years building up this channel, so I'm not gonna put it in any sort of jeopardy by having a separate channel under the same email address where I have a bit of fun on a day off and do some cover songs. Which I just saw as a bit of a shame really, because I'm it depends how you look at it. I mean, technically, if you look at the firm arm of the copyright law, I would, or one would then be in breach of the copyright because you are, without permission, performing a song. Now, that's always been quite contentious over the years, albeit if we look at the black and white of it, the fact. But you've got cover bands, for example. I run a tribute band, and we perform those songs live. And I just think the mechanic of YouTube and these labels, given that we've got all of this infrastructure and intelligence and AI, is archaic. There has to be, I think, in place a system for YouTubers to upload a song. It gets reviewed by the content ID. It says, "Hi, this is, I don't know, such and such by AC/DC. And this is the label, this is the artist, and either yes, this label and artist allow you this to be on your channel, or no." Because that would be a completely fair system. Isn't that all we want? Who wants to go, "Oh well, I'm gonna just get a copyright strike anyway"? Like, it's ridiculous. If it can scan with content ID and find the track and the associated label, it can certainly give you a yes or no answer whether they are going to authorize you to use it. Because after all, if it's a yes that's requested by the artist, then they will benefit by you putting it up. Why isn't that in place? Why is it always seemingly like this in the music business? Why is it so sort of sketchy and vague? Why do we, as the smaller artists, have to be at risk? Yeah, so that was my situation on it. So it's difficult because up until now, if you would have asked me what's a great way to get your music out there, and there are the thing is there's hundreds of thousands of cover songs online and everything, and for the most part, everything's fine. But it's also possible that you could wake up one morning and a label or an artist has changed its stance, and if you've got multiple songs there, you could get multiple strikes, and that would be that. And that just seems like criminally unfair. And it doesn't seem like many people get much joy appealing these things. So I'd love a change in that system. Who knows? Maybe in the future we will. I think just more transparency. Like I say, if you can upload something and it says yes, this is going to be fine, you're going to sleep much better at night. And that's a nice cycle for the music industry. You're benefiting singing a song. You're going to get a bit more attention, and hopefully, a few of those people are also going to check your own music out. And those that um, are further up the ladder are also going to benefit too. It just seems like those things just sometimes don't get dealt with, and it's not fair. Anyway, your thoughts on that, let me know. I want to talk about it more. Obviously, this is early days with this Backstage Pass members area, so it'll be good to talk about that where maybe on the main channel as well at some point. So yeah, comment below when you come across this one in the members area. Have you had any experience of that? Have you been on the end of a copyright strike even? I hope not. So moving on, because I've got a few things here. The MprEQ plugin I've got here, which I've literally just dropped this video this afternoon. Another Analog Obsession absolute belter of a plugin. I reviewed Kit Plugins Norman Petty is like a preQ, preamp and EQ a few weeks back, and it's really cool. I said in the video, there's not that many plugins. I've been looking at plugins and reviewing them quite a lot over the last few years, and the more and more you do them, the more you start to sort of cyclically see the same thing over and over again. So when something, I think Kit have onto something, and I really like that they're not just making these emulations, but it's like they're sort of preserving some of the past. It's like a museum of of plugins or museum of hardware that you can actually bring into your own DAW as well. I think it's a really cool thing, and I like that direction. Waves took that direction with Abbey Road a while back, and I think all that stuff's really very cool. And it also gives you a sneak into how these units worked. Yeah, it makes mixing fun too. But this also very quickly started to give me that sound, which I think could be a real challenge trying to conjure up with maybe more stock style plugins. It really had a vibe about it, especially like when I put it on my Strat, it was like, it's Buddy's sound, and that was very cool. But the comment on that video was, is there anything else that's similar? And I kind of took that also as, is there anything like free? And had a trawl about, and I've done some Analog Obsession free sort of pre-Q stuff. Preed, I think, is one of them. There's a few of them, but nothing really sprung to mind that was exactly that sort of a simple EQ and pre, so aimed at sort of more 50s, 60s. Because unlike Apple and their viewpoint on my 2015 iMac, I think vintage is going back a bit further than 2015. So I found this MprEQ, which I think came out about 2020. Just completely passed me by, but I wasn't doing this channel then. So, but I was surprised I hadn't seen it because it's a sort of plugin that really floats my boat. Tried it out, just thought it was really super cool. It's two like plugin Pultec EQs for right at the top of 12K, and then at 100 hertz for the bass, and then just a gain knob on the other side, an output control. And some plugins you use, particularly free ones, and you go, it's okay, it's okay. This one was like, like it. And so I played around with it for a while, and then I thought, I want to make a video on this. This is a very cool plugin with a really nice vibe. And I was even surprised making the video today because I'd struggled a little bit with this sort of. It isn't really a mix yet at the moment. It's still in production. This song, um, which I wanted to use for the channel, and I put this on it and was working with it, and I was like, you know what, this is really starting to help this mix along to get me an idea of where I want to go next with it. So it must be good. It must be good. I think it's got a really nice vibe about it. And the Pultec did the job on the kick and the bass. It really filled out the low end and just started to put everything in its place tonally, which is what you want from a simple pre like that. Early days mixing, big broad strokes with, Pultec EQ, just tonal shaping, not getting bogged down with the intricacies, certainly, hopefully not at all, but certainly not too early in the mix. And that's exactly what it did. So I don't know, but I've got so many different plugins now that sometimes I feel like, oh, I should always be using the paid ones because they're the best ones. But then I'm reminded today, like, if it sounds good, it is good, right? So well worth checking out. MprEQ, MprEQ. Yeah, well, you'll check out the videos on the channel, so check it out. And then that moves me on to webcams and updates, and I wanted to throw this one open as well. I mean, like I say, it's early days of its Backstage, so the live stream's pretty quiet. But you can comment below if you're watching this from just from the Backstage pass of all the previous live streams. Updates, 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 updates. Now I avoid updates like the absolute plague. I don't know any other musicians or producers that think any differently from that, or creatives in general. If it works, you just don't want to touch it. I've run Big Sur for about at least 4 or 5 years on here, and it was just starting to get a little bit too old for, not for the music and stuff. If it was just music that I did, I wouldn't touch it. I'd just leave it for as long as I possibly could, for as long as the computer worked. But what you're watching me on is a new webcam from the guys over at eMeet, who's kindly sent it in, and it's lovely. It's really nice. I mean, I'm looking at it on the screen. It's crystal, and it's very cool and clever. But it needed an update. It needed to go up to Monterey, and my computer just did not enjoy that at all. So it was a knock-on effect. A lot of the screen recording software then didn't work, and then had other problems with lag and delay with the audio. And a friend said to me a couple of days ago, we're sort of told to think like, or updates. Oh yeah, updates. It'd be really good. Get the latest update. Sounds like it should be something really good. Oh, the new features. But it's just like, does anyone think of it like that? It's just stress and hassle for us creatives, musicians, because stuff just goes awry, and then other things need updating, and that can also involve money. It's just like, so that's what's been going on, and genuinely it's caused me a lot of stress because I've also got quite a lot of work on with some various different companies, and I wanted to really start getting some more content on the channel. So I moved house only a few months ago, so it's just been a lot of sorting all of that out and just settling into the rhythm of life. And then this has happened, and I'm like, it's been so challenging. At the moment, I still haven't got screen sharing or recording sorted. I've stopped dropping money on it. I was buying some different software to try and make it work, and yeah, just getting nowhere. So I'm just in the process of contacting all these companies saying, oh, why isn't this working with Monterey, and trying to work things out. But updates, what are your experience with updates? Let me know as well. Have you had any absolute update hell? The worst one I could ever think of was, which wasn't an update, it was using a 10 or a 12 track digital recorder, and it crashed. The hard drive crashed, and we had 6 months of album on it. And it was back then. None of that stuff spoke to computers. You didn't back it up. The hard drive wasn't easily accessible, and there was no way to connect it up to a computer. It just was a standalone device. So if it went, so when you stuff, this thing didn't even have a CD drive in it. So it's what you had. And if it didn't work, it didn't work. We sent it off, and a clever guy retrieved about half of it. But by which point, I think we ended up just re-recording the whole album. Absolute madness. I don't think I'd have the energy for that right now. But this is the camera. Look, it looks very. It's a really cool camera, by the way. If you're looking at like cool webcams, I think it's about 140 quid. So it's not crazy expensive, but it's much more than a webcam. It goes up to 4K, but my computer doesn't like that. But you could use this easily for making video content. I'm going to experiment with that at some point once I probably get everything up and running. So it's very good, and the software with it's very good. It's just it's crippling the system. So there's things to work out. Anyway, I sincerely hope you haven't had those kind of issues, and I think maybe it's a bit worse on Mac than it is with Windows. I haven't used Windows for so long. Let me know, because if I decide to move forward, maybe I'll walk away from Mac and go back to PC. I don't know. Anyway, that's the live stream for now. I hope it's found you well. Let me know your thoughts on a bunch of different topics there. The main one really being the copyright. That's something which I think is really important and needs to be spoken out more, because it's not fair for us smaller artists and stuff to have to bear all the risk and brunt of that. But a bunch of different topics there. Let me know in the comments. I check everyone. It's much easier to do in this members area. And whenever this finds you, I hope it finds you well. Okay. Bye for now.